Well, what do you know? It was actually easy this time to go live. So, 100th Monkey, welcome back. This would be my post-election wrap-up. Unlike many of you, I wasn't watching mainstream media. Actually, I was watching Greg Hunter for most of that. And yeah, that was it's a trap. It's a trap. These guys. Do you want to go up against Rudy Giuliani and Trump's lawyers? Trump has some of the fiercest lawyers there is. Yeah, merciless. And they got these guys dead to rights. Let's see, more registered voters than there are, more voters than there are registered voters. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. Let me put it another way. It's a trap. They sleepwalked into another trap. See, every time in the past where they have done this kind of chicanery, this kind of fuckery, the Democrats and Republicans were both in on it. This time, the Republicans are the only one. The Democrats are the only ones on it, and the Republicans kind of sort of were going with a straight up election because they had a guy that they didn't need to cheat for. If you saw the numbers and you saw the crowds with your own eyes, you know for a fact that in Wisconsin he was drawing tens of thousands, and Biden couldn't get anybody to come. Same thing in Michigan. Same thing in Minnesota. Arizona, no, Arizona did not flip blue. It's a moot point because it's just 11. Virginia was like 59-38 the whole evening, and at the very last moment, I was actually looking at it when it flipped. It was like 51-47, and then all of a sudden, the numbers literally changed and made it 51-47 or 51-49 or something like that. The numbers literally flipped for suddenly Biden was the 51 and Trump was the 49 instead of the other way around. I don't know what they did. And then another printout, and suddenly it's like 52-45 or whatever the hell it was. But the whole time in Virginia, he was ahead. But they never called it, never once. And many people noticed that fuckery right there because they didn't want to make it look red because, if Virginia falls, anyway. All right. So by the Electoral College thing, even with them flipping Virginia, even with them flipping Nevada and Arizona, they still couldn't pull it off. So now they had to get Pennsylvania. They didn't get Pennsylvania. And Rudy Giuliani's over there having a fun time. They try to get Michigan and Wisconsin. It's not going to happen. They have to get 3 big states, and they're going to be able to prove vote fraud. You know it's vote fraud. I know it's vote fraud. The Democrats know it's vote fraud. The fucking guys that were telling you, the talking heads on TV, they know it's vote fraud, and they're covering. They're fighting for their lives. You understand that if Trump wins this one, and he's going to, many people in the media are going to be strung up just like the guys in Hollywood and just like the guys in DC. So they are fighting for their lives. They're not just going to roll over and go, okay, Trump won, because it was clear that but they could have called it last night easily between Michigan and Wisconsin and Ohio and North Carolina. And okay, they stole Virginia and they stole Arizona. But Pennsylvania, he didn't get any of the big states. He didn't flip. Florida was such a blowout that they didn't even bother in Florida, right? His home state. Everybody thinks he's from New York, but actually he was from Florida. New York, there was never any question about New York. There was never any question about the West Coast when it came, right? So basically, Biden didn't pull it off. Their cheating didn't work. And see, the first time around, because this is what I thought was going to happen in 2016, and I was a little surprised when it's like, nope, Trump win. All right, so what happened? Well, the Democrats were complacent because they were so ridiculous. Literally complacent. They were so full of themselves. They were couldn't even conceive of the fact that Hillary wouldn't win, and that Trump was an idiot, and that nobody would vote for Trump, and that they had it in the bag. So they didn't get their cheating game on too terribly much. A little bit here and there, but overall not enough to pull it off. All right. Well, they weren't going to make the same mistake twice, right? So what they did this time is they got their cheating game on, and they told you they were going to get their cheating game on. Now they're being ridiculous. Oh, really? 100,000 ballots. There's a thing called Bedford's law. Go look it up. This is going to come into play. promise, because these people are so bad at cheating that they don't know mathematics. So they're going to get busted on the math alone. But the idea is that these guys are going to go in, and it's going to be easy to prove. 140,000 ballots get found, not a single one for Trump. Ballots that aren't counted and thrown away are all for Trump, not a single one for Biden. Right? But I mean, it's a trap. It's a trap. They sleepwalked into another trap. And then let us not forget about Biden's laptop. Yeah, Biden Jr., yeah, Hunter, yeah, the laptop, that's not going away. You think that's just going to disappear? Do you think that they're, I mean, anyway, if you do, okay, I'll give it to you if you want, because you're right. In the past, Weiner's laptop had a lot of terrible stuff on it with regard to Hillary and a bunch of other people, control files. These control files got let out. And I believe that, because I mean, they're on the dark web, and I would be very careful about doing the research when it comes to certain images and certain videos, because remember, what is seen cannot be unseen, and what is heard cannot be unheard. So go just far enough that you go, okay, yeah, that's shit I don't want to look at, and don't go further, because you won't be able to get those images out of your mind. And they're horrifying. Horrifying. Let me make that clear. Horrifying, right? There aren't English words strong enough to describe the shit that's on those laptops, right? These people are sick beyond your imagination. All right. So, yeah, a total shit show. And it was supposed to be a total shit show. They, did I vote in this election? No, I had rescinded my voter registration because I'm coming out from under the horror Babylon. But isn't this a great show, right? Oh, man, you better have voted. 50 million new voters, right? Not fake voters with, what do you call it, with voter registrations and mail-in ballots and stuff like that. But I mean, actual 50 million people that haven't voted forever and a day or never voted, or 50 million new voters. All right, so what did you do when you signed the voter registration? You told them that you needed representation and that you were willing to be represented by members of United States Corporation. Did you hear Did you hear in America? No, you told them that you wanted United States Corporation to represent you, and that you wanted people in your state to represent you, and you wanted people in your county to represent you, right? So you were being, because you can't present yourself. Like right now, I can't go allege voter fraud. I have no standing. I can't allege any kind of fraud. I have fraud committed against me in court. I can't allege it because I have no standing. I'm a fucking slave still, until such time as they recognize the fact that I'm a man and that we have no contract, and that the Pope doesn't own me, and that I'm not a ward of the state, and none of this has happened yet, right? Okay, so, and by the way, there is a maxim in law that says ignorance is negligence, right? Ignorance is negligence. So just because you were ignorant of secret contracts, secret liens, and secret agreements, and just because they secretly wrote, and they kept you ignorant by putting you in a public school and never telling you about this stuff, yeah, that's still somehow our fault. That's still my fault. It's still your fault that you didn't ever figure it out. Somehow, I guess we're supposed to magically figure it out. But anyway, ignorance is negligence. So there is a guy named Patrick Devine. There is another guy named Carl Lentz. There are, oh shoot, what's that one woman's name? I can see her face clearly. So, you know, if I wasn't on the video, I would remember it. April or June, I believe it is. All these people that have stumbled down this path and figured out this guy knew what he was talking about, right? Figured out that, American blacks were set free as slaves, but never as free men, right? So they went out of the frying pan and into the fire. And yeah, if you read your history, you find out that that's true. Let's see here. All you own belongs to the Federal Reserve. That ain't a lie. You get usufruct of it, and look up that word, like learn some legal terms, usufruct. You get usufruct to your car, you get usufruct to your property, but you don't own it. They do, which is why they can come and take it. Let's see here. You are made a slave by the way your name is spelled. All caps and lower caps. Yeah, right? What is it? Capitis diminished maximum, right? The all caps name will actually diminish your standing. Let's see here. Patriot Act emasculates the Bill of Rights. Absolutely it does. If you are in the corporation. Constitution was set aside during the Civil War and has never been in effect since. These are crazy times. This is crazy claims and crazy. It's all in here. I've been talking about this for days, weeks and months and years. Here is yet more evidence of the facts that I just talked about with this book. I suggest you go over to Wayne Jett's website and buy it directly from him. Same thing with that one, right? I can put the PDF below, but this cost me $20 on, I think it was Amazon, or I don't remember where I got it. I think it was Amazon, because I couldn't find the guy's website, so I just got it off of Amazon. This one, it's on Amazon, but I got it directly from him because he gets all the money that way, right? No Amazon fees, no nothing. So I ordered it directly from him. But the idea being is that this one doesn't so much talk about how to emancipate yourself and how the whole bonding system works and how you become, right, how you have to claim your one share. You got one share. You got to claim that. You got to claim your estate, and you got to revoke your freaking power of attorney, right? And they're going to tell you, you can't revoke your power of attorney. Really? I can't revoke really? Can I bestow my power of attorney on someone? Well, then I can revoke it. Anyway, point being is that right now we got a fun shit show. And see, now when I write my letters, and I've written some, but I'm going to write some other ones because those other ones are basic. But one of my reasons for wanting to expatriate from United States Corporation and Hawaii, state of Hawaii. And that's all they do, right? I just noticed this. And let me point this out too. Just the word fair and grammar fair that they do to you. Right? I don't want to be part of this corporation. Trump's not my man. Neither is Biden. None of these people are, right? I'm my own guy. I know that sounds crazy, but what does that say right there? Can I put that up there? That says state of, you think that says state of Hawaii, but no, it doesn't. It says state of Hawaii criminal. Because Hawaiian criminal, that means those two words are joined. So that's not state of Hawaii anymore. That's state of Hawaii criminal. State of Hawaii criminal. All right, so what does our style of process in the state say? And you've got to look up your style of process in your state. But style of process in our state, HRS, Hawaii Revised Statutes, 601-15, style of process is the state of Hawaii. The state of Hawaii. All right, so I don't see the state of Hawaii anywhere on this citation, which, by the way, is bogus. And if you want to find out about this story, it's a great story because basically the police officer made it look like he was doing his job when, in fact, he wrote a bogus ticket. So that, right? Anyway, because like I said, had I been an asshole, had I been like, no, I'm not showing you my ID. Right? No, I was already being an asshole when he said, like, put the mask on. Like, what did he say? He said, if you put the mask on, I'll walk away. Dude, what the fuck? This is a $5,000 ticket. And I was just like, I can't do it. Right? And 3 cops, they all looked at each other. And anyway, he busted out a bogus ticket. And I knew it was a bogus ticket because normally they have a thick ticket book, and that ticket came all by itself. Every once in a while, they put one aside. Anyway, I have friends that are in law enforcement. At many levels. I know U.S. Marshals. I know, well, I'm not going to mention her name, but a high school classmate of mine is an FBI agent. And one of them FBI agents where, like, she does work where you aren't supposed to know she's an FBI agent. So I ain't going to say shit. What do you call? Law enforcement? Yeah, I know police officers, Maui cops, and Oahu cops since high school. These are guys I went to school with. The sheriff at the county sheriff here, the sergeant, is a classmate of mine that was younger than me. Actually, we went to school together, and we were actually pretty good friends as when we were children. We certainly haven't been friends since high school because he went his way and I went mine. But I mean, I know the guy, right? When we see each other, we shake hands and we talk story, as we say in Hawaii. But the idea being is I know a lot of police officers, okay? They're not all assholes. Most of them joined up because they realized that, yeah, it's kind of a fucked up place and somebody's got to do it, right? I wouldn't take their job. I know ACOs. I know lots of, those are the guys that guard your prisons. Anyway, the point being is that this whole thing, this whole apparatus, this whole corporation, private corporation that tries to make you think that they're a de jure corporation, and actually they're our de facto government, because they got the guns and clubs. Do you have the guns and clubs? No. And they're very concerned that we're going to pick up our guns and clubs and start getting upset. So they're boarding up lots of stuff. Don't do that. Don't get upset. It's a show. You're watching a show. The show is designed to keep you involved, to keep you distracted, to keep you divided, right? Oh, those naughty Biden people are stealing the election. Oh, those fucking Trump people are whatever, right? I mean, do this. Keep doing this, because while you're doing this, nobody focuses on the people that are actually fucking you, right? The people that are sending your children off to war in fucking ridiculous places, right? For ridiculous reasons. Yeah, those, right? One bird. You have, and see, this is the thing. Trump trying to bring these people home. And take a look at how much, what's the word I want? Resistance he's gotten from Republicans and Democrats, because Republicans and Democrats both suck on that tit from the war machine, right? Trillions of graft, right? When it's trillions of dollars, take a look at the budget of the Pentagon. Yeah, you can probably siphon off a few $100,000 and nobody will notice. Nobody will notice, because ain't nobody accounting for it. And that's, that's small time. If you only took a couple $100,000, that would be considered very small time. It's millions and millions. Take a look. Biden got what, $10 million just for introduction? Yeah, hell yeah, right? I know people. I just got a call. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that, but I just got a call today, briefly, because I know some people. So some of the people that a person far, far away, South America, called me up because they know I know somebody here on Maui, right? That's an introduction, right? Okay. When it comes to the Bidens and them selling influence, and the Clintons and every freaking administration going back through time, don't freaking tell me that Reagan was squeaky clean with his freaking Iran-Contra thing. Neither was none of them. Not Ford. See, that's how old I am. I remember these presidents, right? I was alive at the time. Ford and Carter and Reagan and Bush and Clinton. None of these guys were clean. None of them. There's no fucking good guys on his team. I'm telling you, there ain't no good guys on his team, and to include Trump. No good guys in this fight. They're all fucking evil bastards. All right. So now some of you have started to figure out that, yeah, there are some people that are more evil and some people that are less evil. Right? And there are some people that, yeah. Anyway, these guys right here, yeah, they've turned evil. But see, they've been seduced. And I don't get too heavily into the Bible thumping. I do it once in a while, but I don't do it on the Jesus coming to save you thing. I come in, right, read this thing the way it's supposed to be read, and suddenly, oh, you realize that this stuff we're talking about here, in this book, and I wish I could hold up. There's another one I should order and get in hard form, which is Chained to the Sky. I also have that PDF. But all those books, they've all figured out that these guys are all there to basically keep you fat and happy, right? But there's ticks sucking all over you, right? Big, fat, nasty ticks, and some of you actually enjoy it. Right? Instead of getting rid of them. But the idea being is that these ticks need to be removed. And they are parasites 100%. And the parasite has gotten so big when it comes to United States corporation. The parasite is Federal Reserve, right? The Federal Reserve, which is not federal, and there's no reserve. They own everything. Go take a look. And you have signed contracts either inadvertently or on purpose with these guys. And they give you usufruct of your car. They give you usufruct of your property. They give you usufruct of, right? You don't own it. They give you usufruct of your guns. And one day they're going to come and pick those up, because that's problematic. But there are certain powers that shouldn't be in your government that understand that, yeah, if it wasn't for that wall of, just go look it up. I'm not going to tell you because I just got done doing it. But go look up how many, and this is not everybody, right? Because not everybody that has a gun has a hunting license, but just look at how many hunting licenses in Northern California and Oregon and Washington. How many? Just in that little area, right? Not even all of California, just Northern California. You can go look this up if you want to go look at the stats. Go look at how many hunting licenses there are in the Appalachians, right? I mean, it's millions and millions and millions. There is no standing army equal to the number of guns that the civilians in the United States of America Well, they think they're in the United States of America. But anyway, these U.S. persons, they have more guns than any army on the planet. Okay, and there is a saying among the Chinese and among the Russians, quantity has a quality all its own, right? So yeah, do they have better weapons? Maybe. Do they have better firepower? Probably. Could they own the air? Doubt it. But I mean, even if they did own the air, they couldn't get all of you, right? They couldn't get all of us, and they know it. So what are they going to do? They're going to get us to fight with each other. So who do they buy? They bought Biden. They bought a lot of Democrats. But don't just go point your fingers at the Democrats, because they bought a lot of Republicans too. And one of the things that they do in this whole sick, disgusting world that we're living in is use control files to control these guys, because they understand that some of these guys, you give them money and that's not good enough, right? They'll take the money and then turn around and fuck you. So to make sure that they just that you got them with money, and the and is usually child rape. The and is usually it used to be just, you know, homosexual behavior. They could get them with that. Cheating on your wife, that was good enough with an adult hooker. But no. They have devolved to the point where it's not just the upper echelon in the Caligula class anymore. It's if you're working for the Caligula class, you probably have a control file, and you've probably done horrifying things to children. If you're in the echelon that is quote unquote trusted, right? These people rape children, and worse, and that's how they control these guys. Okay, the Chinese understand this very simple concept from Sun Tzu. That if you have if you're going to do what we now call asymmetrical warfare, but if your enemy is stronger than you, or you know, not only is it stronger, but I mean, do you understand the supply chain from China across the Pacific Ocean to? Right? Okay, so it's difficult to prosecute a war like that in the first place, because you got to get your troops. All right, so you got that, and and on top of that, while they're on ships, all your troops are vulnerable. So and I've heard all kind of stuff from Sarah Westall and a few other people, conspiracy theory type people. I'm not saying Sarah Westall is conspiracy theory, but I mean, a lot of people that are that way, that, yeah, there's already Chinese soldiers in large number in Canada and Mexico, right? So what they were hoping for is get these guys to fight with each other, get a shooting war going, get an actual civil war going, and then they come and mop up. But see, they're not going to come. Don't worry about the Chinese coming across the Canadian border. Don't worry about the Chinese coming across the southern border, because if they did that, Chinese people look like Chinese people. They would probably be in Chinese uniforms. They don't look like us. And now what you have is a common enemy, which would unite Antifa and Proud Boys and everybody together. And now we're fighting a common. They don't want us united. They don't. That's bad. You can't have the American people united. That's not what they want. They want us fighting with each other. So what do? They pay spies. They pay people in our Congress, and worldwide. I was just talking to Uruguay today. Worldwide, our freaking government is well known for being bought cheap. Right? Give them a car and a fucking hooker, and you can pretty much get these bitches to do anything you want. But anyway, some of them it's more, right? Like Biden, it's millions. But overall, these people are bought fairly cheaply. And now you have these people that are absolutely treasonous traitors. They would fucking hang your kids up, no problem. They would hang you up and your children and your wife, and look the other way while the Chinese were doing their wild thing. And this is pretty much no longer a conspiracy theory or a myth. They bought into our, and not just Congress in D.C., but governors. They have a list of governors that are friendly and governors that aren't. In state legislatures and houses also, because you got to get those laws changed. And that's the other thing, right? They passed all these insane laws so that for a while there, one, we could barely get oil out of the ground because of all the regulations for environmentalism, and we couldn't mine rare earth minerals. So where were we going to get our from China? Beautiful, actually, when you get down to it. And again, this is not fucking crazy talk conspiracy theory. This is common sense. If you sit back and take a fucking look at what's going on around you, right? These people are not fucking around. They want world domination, right? It's pinky in the brain. It's not a joke. The Chinese, Manchurians, so they got to see, and that's the thing. Many names get us to, right? Call them Chinese. They're not Chinese. They're Manchurians. There's a difference. Manchurians fucking shot a missile at us. I'm pretty confident it was the Manchurians that did that. Haven't figured out. Still, I'm not 100% sure, but here's the thing I know. I was here in Hawaii when a missile got shot at us. How do I know? Because all my friends, and see, I have many friends, military also. The military bases, their alarms also went off, right? Hickam, it was going off. Pearl, it was going off. Okay. The system, our emergency broadcast system, I got a siren right here. I think actually it's gone off a couple of times when I've been doing these, because it goes off at 11:45 on the first working day of the month, every month. And if it doesn't, something's wrong. But they do a test. Okay, so that's the emergency broadcast system in Hawaii. It's usually for tsunamis and hurricanes and stuff like that. And, when the sirens go off, turn your freaking radio on. They got something to say. If it's not, during a test. All right. So that's the emergency broadcast system. All right. That's the civilian emergency broadcast system. It has nothing to do with the military broadcast system. They're not joined up. They're not. All right. So when the military sirens went off, that's when I knew there was a problem. Let's put it that way. But apparently they knocked it out of the sky. I don't know what happened, but it was a problem, and then it wasn't a problem. Fortunately, because had that thing gone off on the Big Island, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you now because of this thing called radiation. The nukes that we have now are not like the nukes. Everybody thinks they're like the nukes that we dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which were horrifying enough. But no, they are by a factor many times greater than that. So one of those just hit the general area, and this state would be over, basically. And those that didn't die immediately would sure as fuck wish they had. Anyway, oh God. Dying of radiation poisoning, for God's sakes. Anyway, if you hadn't noticed, we're at war. It's not one of them hot. You thought I was going to be one of them hot shooting wars and planes and ships and stuff. No. What we've got now is a war of ideals and a war of people who are absolute treasonous traitors to this country, right? to the ideal that you have, the American way, the people that just want to raise their kids and have a beer on Friday inside the North American continent, from about what we call the Canadian border to about what we call the Mexican border. All right, but all of them actually, the Mexicans and the Americans and the Canadians. It's a bunch of men and women living on a continent, and they have cut the thing up into 3 nation states, which are basically really big plantations. And it took me 3 years, traveling 3 cities a week for 3 years. And I was on the road probably 40 weeks out of the year. Took 12 weeks off. So, yeah. So, think about it. 120 cities for 3 years, right? I've been to every city you've ever seen on the news, pretty much. If it's got 20,000 people in it, I've been there. I've been to Erie. I've been to all those little tiny towns. I've been to any place Trump's at a rally, I've been there. And I've been amazed sometimes too to see Trump's having a rally in Podunk and freaking 10,000, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people show up. He had one where 100,000 people showed up to hear Donald Trump speak. 100,000. That puts him up there. Go look. That puts him up there with any rock star, any comedian, anybody, anywhere that was ever famous anywhere. 100,000, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a freaking crazy crowd. I have a little friend. Well, I know the manager. I know the girl. I've met her like 2 times. Maggie. She managed to pull 90,000 into a stadium, and they went, wow, okay, now we've got something here. And she got all kind of contracts out of that crazy, beautiful young thing, and she makes music for teeny boppers. But anyway, the idea being is that he can pull a crowd of 100,000 people. Biden couldn't put free McDonald's. He couldn't put people in McDonald's. Free KFC. He couldn't fill a KFC. All right. The motherfucker couldn't put people. Oh my God. You saw it with your own eyes. Okay. Now they're trying to say that, there were 140,000. There were 140,000 people in all of freaking Minnesota you know what I mean? But he still won in Minnesota. All right, fine. It's always been a blue state. And see, that's how they get away with it. In our state, this is Hawaii that I'm talking about. We've always been Democrats, so of course we were Democrat. But you didn't go out there and see. I did. I left my house. Right? Do I look like the kind of guy that's going to hold a sign for Trump or any fucking buddy, right? I have a good friend that was running for mayor. I went down there just to support her because we've been friends since high school, and so I just was there as a body. But as a U.S. person, you can vote. When you tell them that you're no longer a U.S. person and you rescind your voter's registration, you can't even vote in that way. So Anyway, what you want to be is an elector. I have videos about it. Patrick Devine, go look up Patrick Devine and take a look at some of the stuff that he's talking about. He'll tell you who to talk to. You need to talk to an Article 3 judge. You need to, right? You got to let some people know. You need to talk to Angela D. Caesar over at the bankruptcy court in Washington, D.C. You need to talk to, did I write it here? Yes, you need to talk to the Vicar General and let the Vicar General know, yeah, that claim that the Pope has on my soul, I'm rescinding that claim. You need to talk to, it's not, the rest of it's not there. Anyway, so, but the idea being is that there's some people you need to talk to. There's another, there's a trustee. And I just found that. And there's a whole other video that I need to watch, a couple of videos now that I'm getting behind here, that I need to watch when it comes to, like, you know, you need to inform the trustee about your trust and the fact that you're reclaiming your estate and that you've been negligent since you were 25 and you didn't reclaim it the way you were supposed to. You didn't inform anybody. You didn't do any paperwork. You didn't do a damn thing. And in my case, they've been administering my estate without my permission and without my knowledge or consent since I was 25 years old. Which is about, what is that, 31 years now. So what's the first thing I'm going to need? I'm going to need some accounting here. What have you guys done while I was being a negligent idiot that didn't know anything about anything? So let's get an accounting going. That's step one. Second, now that we figured out our square, right? Now that we figured out this thing, debits and credits and credits and debits and debits and credits, we need to move stuff from one to the other, and we need to figure out what it is, and then we need to collapse those things that are fraudulent, keep those things which aren't fraudulent, and put them into the de jure Treasury, right? So the Department of the Treasury is not the de jure Treasury. That is United States Corporation. I want to go into the Treasury Department, right? So there's the Secretary of the Treasury, and there's a Treasury Secretary, right? There's the county, there's the County of Maui, and there's Maui County. One is one thing and one is another, right? And see, I remember when I first started figuring out this information, I realized I didn't even know where I was for a little while there, right? I knew I was on the island of Maui, which is, and there's Maui County. Maui County is 3 islands, not just one island. The County of Maui, again, 3 islands, Maui, Molokai, and Lanai. We're the only county in all of the counties that is a 3-island county. Anyway, those 3 islands are not in Washington, D.C. They are quite far away from Washington, D.C. But see, they're considered, if you're in the County of Maui, you're considered to be a resident in D.C. It's actually not that complicated. Holy cow, you guys are typing like crazy. See, and you always distract me when you do that. But the idea being is that be of good cheer. These motherfuckers walked into a trap. It's yet another trap. They've walked in a trap after trap. The laptop isn't going away. People that rape children have been discovered, and that's not going away either. And they're not getting away with it. And fuck all you guys that said that that now that everybody knows, and you know, and what I got 16 people watching here, you guys all know that I'm not talking shit anymore when I talk about the fact that these people rape children and traffic children. They traffic drugs. They traffic guns. They traffic flesh. They traffic all of it. It's just business. Right? We're the little people. We're the dumbasses that signed up for it when you get down to it. Did they make us sign a form? Did they make you sign up for your driver's license? No. Did they make you do voter registration? No. Voter registration? No. They convinced you that it was important for you to do voter registration, and you didn't know that there were adhesion contracts there. You thought that you were signing up so that you could have your say in this corporation. Oh, wait, it's not a corporation, it's a republic. No, it's not. And see, they never taught you the history because it's plain, it's in black and white if you go look at the history. And there's plenty of people that tell you what history to look at. But go take a look at what happened during the time of the Civil War. Well, who are those fucking Wigmores, right? The Wigmore Party, the Whigs, right? And they buried a lot of that information also. What happened in 1871? How come so many of the courts, when people walk into court and start talking shit about the Constitution and this and that, they won't recognize decisions like Dred Scott that happened before 1871? Why is that? What happened in 1933? What happened in 1949? What happened? What happened in 1971? Right? What happened in 1964? Right? You got to know your fucking history, or they'll run circles around you. Okay, you're not going to stand in the history in a court of law, but it helps you stand and understand what the hell is going on here. Now, what the hell's going on here is them extracting as much wealth as they can from you by putting on a fucking great show every 4 years. This is one of the best shows Fortress America has ever put on. This season is off the hizzock, all right? Wherein Donnie, the TV, oh, sorry, it's a fucking TV reality star that's president of the United States. It couldn't be more apropos. It couldn't be more perfect. But anyway, Donnie turns out to be one of the fucking better presidents in my lifetime. Whether, I mean, I don't care what you have to say about it, but let's see, 5 peace prizes, got us out of TPP, got us out of, I mean, trade agreements that were just shit. Started holding some of these people to account, started trying to pull our troops out, wound up taking some of our worst enemies and fucking just assassinating them, stole a bunch of oil from freaking Syrians, and apparently we're cool with that. It's like, yeah, is that our oil? No. Did we go over there and steal it? Yes. And are we giving it back? No. Fuck you. We got the guns, right? We got the nukes. What are you gonna do about it? That's us. That's the American way. Therefore, like I said, when I write letters, I can't be part of this corporation anymore. I can't. And you have specific laws written in your codes that say, or not laws, you have specific words written in your code that says, I get to expatriate when I get sick and tired of this shit, and I'm sick and tired of this shit. So I ain't part of your corporation anymore. You can't use me as collateral. You cannot use me as support for this thing because I don't support this thing at all anymore, right? Simple as that. Fuck you. You can't make me. That's the bottom line. Or you can come kill me, and then I win. Right? And this is the thing. This is how they get you every single fucking time. Right? Is that you're scared to die. That's how they got the people wearing their masks. That's how they got the medical tyranny. You're afraid to die. Right? And there's a Roman emperor, his wife, the quote is great, because if we let these fucking peasants know that they're just going to come back, we'll never be able to control them. So you better take that out of the Bible. Right? Remove that. The Romans, it's the same fucking story. Okay, when you got educated in a public school, they didn't tell you about the Federal Reserve and usufruct. In fact, most of you never even heard the word usufruct. But they didn't tell you about the fact that, yeah, you were signing up for this other thing, and that you were basically bonding yourself as a free man to this Federal Reserve. And again, I'll put that video down there. I'll make it the first video this time. You can watch it. I'll just put that down there. You can watch it, and and you can see that, yeah, of course, are the bankers going to fucking educate you well enough to understand? Are they going to tell you about what happened in 1933 and make that part of the curriculum? No, they'll tell you about 1776 and stuff, but they won't tell you that Washington was the 9th president, not the first one. They won't tell you a damn thing about Masons. They won't tell you, I mean, you don't want to hear about that. They're not going to tell you about any of this, the inalienable rights wild thing. They'll tell you about civil rights, though. So anyway, are they going to educate you well enough that you know how, for the most part now, I was just looking at this, somebody posted on my wall because I do math. It's something ridiculous, like among blacks and Hispanics, proficiency in 12th graders was something like 7% and 11%. Among Caucasians, it was something like 25%. So that means 75% were not proficient in mathematics, and something ridiculous like 37% were proficient in English. So they can't even fucking write or read, hardly, right? So, and that's perfect, because now, right, and I know plenty of people like this. I hear it all the time. Oops, oh, no, I didn't lose it. Right? I don't like to read books. I want to watch a video. You want to read this thing? Fuck no, you wouldn't want to read this thing. How about this one? You want to read this thing? Nah, you wouldn't want to read that thing, right? And even if you could, and even if you did have the, let's say you were motivated enough to read it, and you're in the 75% that isn't even proficient in English, you going to understand what you're reading? Don't tell me these people aren't fucking as evil as they come, right? They want you dumbed down, ignorant, fighting with each other, right? They want you drinking. They want you beating on your wife. That's the best thing. Or beating on your husband. That's the best thing. Beating on your children. That's what they want, right? They don't want loving, caring, peaceful people. They don't want that. How the fuck does that serve them, right? Okay, so the hyphen, big fucking deal. That hyphen is such a big deal. The little words of, at, in, right? The little things, where do you sign? Left or right or middle? All these things, right? Are you going to use 11.5? Or are you going to use legal size? Are you going to use a green jacket? Are you going to use a manila jacket? All right. All these things are important. Okay, but like I said, those guys, the guys that are enslaving you, yeah, they're having a fight. They're having a cat fight right now as we speak. Right? Who's going to rule you? And that's what they're doing. They're ruling you. Right? This is not representation when you get right down to it. This is comply or die. This is fuck you. You can't go to church. In England, I just saw this. I'll put that under here just for shits and giggles. If you don't live together, you can't fuck. They have basically told you that couples that are that because of COVID-19, you can't have sex, right? So you can't go over to your girlfriend's house and have sex. That's naughty. They want absolute control from top to bottom. Right? See, and this is the thing. Most of you are not control freaks, right? So you don't understand that kind of control freakish nature, but they want absolute and complete control of you. That way they can extract wealth. That way, I mean, and for some reason, apparently they get their yayas off on being able to tell. Like, you know, when we get into wars, apparently they love that. Like when they actually, you know, have the guys land, like say in Iraq, for example, where we just slaughtered those people. They couldn't even hit our tanks, right? If you study that little piece of war, that was just shy murder. I mean, it was war, but I mean, really, let's see. Their tank over here, it only shoot this far. Our tank way over here, it shoot that far. And we fucking destroyed those people. We killed like 200,000 of them in 5 days or less. Right? I know friends, anyway, they don't talk about it for the most part. And when they do talk about it, it usually comes with puking and they're drinking. All right. The evil that you're up against, yeah. Do you want to be part of the corporation? Do you want to be part of this shit show? The Trump-Biden thing? They've got laptop after laptop after laptop. I know of at least 3 laptops just on the Biden side. I know Wiener's and I know a couple of more laptops. And I don't have it here. I would show you a thumb drive, which could get me in all kinds of trouble if I open some of those files. But the idea being is that there is all manner of information out there that shows beyond a shadow of any doubt files that have people that you will recognize doing atrocious things. We'll leave it at that. All right. And let it go. DOJ and FBI went after Trump instead. Right? I can't fucking wait for those guys to show up. Right? I know because when you do some of this stuff, U.S. Marshals or FBI are going to show up looking for documents to make sure you're who you say you are and so forth. And yeah, they're not intimidating me. Right? These fuckers that can't fucking put away a pedophile. Yeah, because they have a name, or because you've seen them on TV, or because they show up once a week or once an evening on nightly news. Right? Are you thinking that the nightly news people aren't involved in this? No, they're absolutely covering it up, and they are fighting for their fucking lives, because not all of them, but some of the ones that the talking heads that you know of, yeah, they were on Epstein's plane. Did they ever do any kind of investigation into Epstein? Clue 1. Did they do any kind of investigation into Wiener's laptop? Clue 2. Did they come to, I mean, right? All right. So they couldn't do that. Boo. They can do all kind of investigation into vote fraud. So they wouldn't tell you about child rape, but they're going to tell you who fudged the voting. Maybe not. All right, let's take a look over here. Yeah, what a shit show. Could I agree more? I couldn't agree more. Yes, knowledge absolutely is power. The Caligula class, there it is. Yes, because I made that up. Because the Caligula class is what they are. This is the same, and it's the same system. It's the same guys. It's the fucking Roman system. Once you start looking at, your eyes will open and you'll go, oh, it's the same system, right? It's the same book. That's why you use the Bible, right? And it's the same thing. The same guys like the Federal Reserve that set up your college and university system and your grade school system, the whole thing. Yeah, they weren't going to fucking tell you about how to get out from under bondage and the fact that you were in fact bonded in the first place and the actual nature of that birth certificate. Go back and look at some of my videos. There's fucking PDFs that you can read. The genesis of it all. But they've been doing it for years, right? They've been doing it for centuries. All right. They weren't going to educate you about that. Same thing. They weren't going to put the books in the Bible that, right? In fact, they removed those books from the Bible. And the one that I look at constantly is Thomas, right? Gospel according to Thomas, Satan's Jesus. Thomas 42, become the passerby. But anyway, the same guys, are they going to put the books in the Bible that set you free? Are they going to put the books in the Bible that talk about reincarnation? Are they going to put the books in the Bible that make you so that you're not afraid of death? Right? Because that's the number one thing I see now is fear of death. You're afraid to die. Like you're just my mother, just clinging to life. And I was like, what? Was me, I would be gone already. Right? But no, I can't be gone because I got children to raise and I got stuff to do and I keep waking up in the morning. So apparently I got stuff to do. But I mean, everybody's so afraid. Oh, if you fill out that paperwork or if you stand up to them, they'll come and kill you. All right. Who wins and who will be there waiting when they cross over? See, now a lot of you guys don't believe it because you've been turned into Jews, right? The Jews believe, the Pharisees believe that this was it. This is the one shot. You got one shot. Nothing happens. You go back to blackness. There is no life after death. There is no everlasting life. That Jesus guy was full of shit. It's just this. Get what you got while you're here. And if you don't get what you got while you're here, well, then you're going to be fucked. And nobody's getting their just due in the next life. There's not going to be any kind of judgment. There wasn't anything that happened before. This is all a crazy accident, and you're just here. All right, if you believe that, sorry for you. That's a sad way to exist. But if you would like to pick up your thinking a little bit, go study some world religion. And pretty much you'll see that everywhere else on the planet, it's not even a thing. Like you can talk to small children in places I've been, and they all know, and they remember, some of them, the whole reincarnation thing. Let's see here. What book? Which book? I got plenty of books. I'll put links down there. Here's one, which is, can you see it? It's the, right? Fruit from a Poisonous Tree, and then Fruits of Graft. And then the other one is Chained to the Sky. And there's a shit ton more than that, but there's 3 to start with. Let's see here. Yeah, there you go. I believe it. Well, nukes are not obsolete because the same way wheels and walls are not obsolete, nukes are great because they make big booms and they make a mess. But yeah, and see, that's the thing with directed energy weapons. If a directed energy weapon went off in front of you and you saw, you wouldn't even know it, right? Because apparently it happens so fast and the laser beam so quick that that if you blink, you miss it. But yeah, they can start forest fires with that. They can burn houses down with that. They can do all kind of stuff from space and pinpoint a moving car. Pretty interesting. Because they don't give a fuck about us. That infrastructure means nothing to them. Nothing. And they don't want to use it. Really, do you think they fucking want to live where the slaves live? Have you seen how they live as compared to how we live? Have you ever fucking gotten on a private jet, ever? And been picked up and then gone off to one of their houses? I have, right? They don't fucking live in the squalor that we live in. Right? They're not going to live in a. I mean, they don't give a shit about apartment buildings or office buildings or any of that shit. Right? That's shit for the slaves to do. And then they suck money off of that. Let's see here. Yep. Magical votes. We like that. We like the magical votes. And we're going to be able to show that those votes were oh so magical. And magical, we can also say illegal and unlawful. Hey, Square. Yeah, it's fraud. It is fraud. It's going good is how it's going. I'm in a happy mood for no fucking reason. Well, I'm in a happy mood because I made money in the stock market today. But I mean, overall, like I said, it's just money. And then, well, I'm not going to put that here. But here's the bottom line. You want to secure your freedom. You don't want money. Right? What you want is freedom. What you want is to make sure that they can't touch you. What you want is to have a piece of paper or a card or a passport that allows you to cross the border, that allows you to hand it to a police officer and they go back and check and they say, have a nice day. As long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as that, there's 3 conditions for you to be dragged into court. And one of them has to be damaged. You have to have stepped off your other square and caused somebody loss or harm. You have to have disturbed the peace, or there has to have been mischief in your contracts. Other than that, you're good, right? So you ran through a stop sign. Ooh, that's mischief in your contract if you have a contract. If you don't have a contract, ain't no mischief there. You didn't break any, you didn't do anything. Nobody was harmed, right? But if you got a driver's license and you got your vehicle registered to them and you have usufruct of that vehicle, there's a shit ton of codes that apply in your state to whenever you're on what you thought was a road, but no, it's actually a trade route. And they consider you for hire, and they own it. They own your car. You don't, right? So you need to get your car into the position where it's like a farm vehicle, right? Because you can walk your tractor down the road, and the cops never stop tractors. So you just have a cool looking tractor that goes fast, right? Faster than a tractor. That you have pink slips for, and not a piece of paper, right? Not a certificate, not a title, right? And I read that before, is that you don't get title. All right. So you can watch it from the beginning, and better than that, you can watch it on 2x speed. So it doesn't take you 50 minutes of listening to me babble. You can listen to all this in 25 minutes. And I'm going to quit in about 10 minutes. But the bottom line is, be of good cheer if you're a Trumper. This was a trap. They set up a trap. It's a trap. These guys sleepwalk. They've walked into every trap that Trump has set. And what's this trap do? This trap shows you beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is vote fraud. All right. Like I said, there isn't anybody here typing here or watching here that doesn't know that fraud went on. And you know that fraud has gone on in past elections. You've known it. And it's always just, okay, right? Hardly anybody ever goes to jail. Every once in a while, maybe some, oh, look at this person. And, they'll make an example of like one person, even though it was a cadre of them. Or they'll pick one, registrar or somebody like that. All right. But overall, or they'll single out like, one person that was throwing away ballots or whatever. But they don't show you the huge apparatus that is the machine that they have built that is absolutely able to manufacture results. And see, Black Box Voting and I had a little relationship in, I think it was 2008, where we sent some emails back and forth. And I told him, look at Bedford's law. Just look at Bedford's law. Bedford's law is very simple. And you'll see it in some of the stuff. But Bedford's law just has to do with numbers. When there's 3 or 4 digit numbers, the first digit isn't going to start with an 7, 8, or 9, generally. But when it's vote fraud, of course they do, right? So it makes it look like there's more thousands of it. Okay, so there's that. There's going to be just straight up, you can't miss it, fraud that's going to be revealed. And the passage that I will read to you, again, where are we? We are no longer in Pisces. Right? We have transitioned out of Pisces, and now we're at the very beginning of that thing we call the age of Aquarius. Right? And see, this is the queen of all sciences is astrology. Why? Because it marks time. And they fucked that up too, right? They don't teach you about astrology, and they don't teach it, right? Because we name these cycles and there's 12 of them. They last about 2,000 years a piece, a little more actually. And we've gone through the 12th cycle, and we are now moving to Aquarius. And guess what? When every of that goes around, and the 25,940 year cycle or whatever the fuck it is, I can't remember. Just take 72 times 360, and there you go. And that'll be the number. So the idea is that once you get to the end of that cycle, generally it seems the sun does its thing, and the whole cycle starts over again. And it's kind of like a great reset. It's kind of like winter for certain plants. Like here in Hawaii, we have a couple of plants that are just freaking taking over because they're invasive species. And unlike the place that they're from, there is no die-off in the winter. They just grow 24/7, 12 months a year. I'm sweating. It's freaking October. I've got friends that I was chatting to earlier today. They're all bundled up in the house. And yeah, my windows are open, and I'm wearing a t-shirt. And the only reason why I'm wearing a t-shirt is because I'm making this video. Otherwise, this would be off. I got door pants, right? I'm running around in my underwear most of the day because it's freaking hot in Hawaii. And why do I need to have clothes on in my house? But the idea being is that, there is a cycle that happens every 25,000 years, just like every winter, we have a winter and it kills off the plants, and then they have to come back again. Here in Hawaii, that doesn't happen. It just grows. Okay, well, same thing with us. We have this cycle that's a lot longer. It's a 25,000 year cycle. We've gone through Pisces. We're moving into Aquarius. And that process, from what I understand, can take anywhere from a few years, 70, 80 years to, one lifetime, or it can take like 700 years moving from one to the other, because it's Hermetic principle number 1. It's mentalism. Luke 8:7. See, and this is the thing when you move into the age of Aquarius. Luke 8:17. Sorry, it's Luke 8:17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come aboard. Oops, sorry, abroad. Look at me, I'm being dyslexic. A-B-R-O-A-D is abroad. Okay, so let me read it one more time, just for fun. And I suggest you read Luke. You might want to take a look at Luke. There's all kind of fun stuff in Luke. Luke is, that's where the Hail Mary comes from. I put that in the other video. There's code here. And Christ Jesus told you know the code. Anyway, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. Excuse me. Yeah, no, that's right. Abroad. All right. And there's a bunch more of those. You know, if we're not struggling, this is not a struggle against man. This is a struggle against unseen and dark forces. And you want to pretend like there are no unseen dark forces because we're the only thing here and this is it. But I got bad news. And then I got more bad news. And then I got bad news after that. But the bottom line is the reset is coming, and not the reset that they're talking about. I'm talking about the grand solar kaboom micronova. And life on this planet changes. And but obviously it continues. We're here, aren't we? So does it wipe everybody out? No. But it definitely sets good and evil back to square one, basically. And we're here. We're at the time. But we are now at the end of that cycle, and we're moving into Aquarius. And in the age of Aquarius, the shit that was happening in Pisces doesn't fly anymore. I am a Piscean. Absolutely a Piscean. I was born in the sign of Pisces. I am a Piscean. And I used to study all that kind of stuff too when it comes to, right? Anyway, and see, what does it say? It says study everything, right? And take what's good. Now, here's the problem. A lot of people study stuff like this and stuff like this, and they take what's bad too. In fact, not only they take what's bad, they do bad. Because bad is easier than good. You'll find I mean, there are some people that, I mean, just, it would be so much easier to just kill them, right? But you can't. That's not allowed. Right? That's naughty. And governments, they're not exempt either. Just because your government said go over there and kill those guys does not absolve the karma. And a lot of our troops have figured that out. I have met some, especially here on Maui, because we're on Maui and there's all kind of soofy goofy energy here, let's put it that way. And we have the East and the West joining here, right? This is as far outside the United States as you can be and still be inside United States corporation. Well, except for maybe Guam, right? Which is even further away. And they're Guamanians are their own animal too. I know a lot of those guys. I spent a little time on Guam. But the idea being is that we've got big changes coming, and people that have been in wars and people that have served the war machine, right? United States corporations war machine, have figured out that a lot of the atrocious things they've done are they need to either repent and they're going to be held to account, because it doesn't just go away. So you need to, do good works. Now here's the thing. Again, love self, right? Love others, right? Love your God, love yourself. That's easy. You can't love self if you don't love your God. You can't forgive self if you can't. And I know a lot of guys having a hard time forgiving themselves for the things that they've done, right? And so what do? Alcohol, drugs, suicide, because they can't forgive themselves. They can't do it because they've done atrocious things. See, and they're not evil, right? Because a lot of these evil guys, and there are a lot of evil guys, as it turns out, are able to do these atrocious things, and actually they use it to empower themselves. They use it to control others, because if you don't do as I tell you to do, I'm going to let these, and then they know that we'll take care of the other part of it, right? They're actually scared of the masses, because when the masses find out about how atrocious and ugly these people have been, and the horrible things that they've done in traffic, there's no power on earth that's going to save them. So a lot of these guys are committing suicide. A lot of these guys are getting out of the way. A lot of these guys are trying to get out of the country because they know what's coming. Because when the masses awaken, and they're awakening, obviously, and they see that these people have done the atrocious deeds that they've done to children, ain't nobody in your neighborhood gonna hold you. Try to get it through your heads that one of the ways that they control you is by you wouldn't want to commit vigilantism, and you let us handle that and so forth. But it's going to be to the point, I believe, here in the near future that a lot of people that realize how deceived they were and how ugly and evil these people were, are going to take matters into their own hands. And there's not a fucking thing anybody's going to be able to do about it. So what you want to do is prepare and get the fuck out of the way and stand back, right? You don't want to be one of those people because it's going to cause yourself even more karma. And the idea is to avoid karma. So anyway, what I was saying, though, is that you got to be able to forgive self. And then once you forgive self, there's a thing called penance. There's a, you can restitution. You can try to make good with good works. And I mean, I know soldiers that they fucking feed the homeless and they shelter children and they do every fucking thing because they realize that some of the things that they did were not good. But at the time, they were kind of mind controlled and they didn't realize that, they were going to be held to account for eternity. So now, and if you're going to be held to account for eternity, then maybe you need to figure out how to forgive yourself and do the penance because, you can't take back some of the things that you've done. Right? It's in the past. So you got to let it go. Right? Forgive the trespasses, you forgive those that trespass against you. But when it comes to, having killed somebody or having been involved in that situation, maybe it's not just, well, sorry, you actually have to do more stuff than that. And I'm not the one that decides, and you have to be, I mean, it's a personal thing, right? What kind of penance do you do when you've killed a man wrongly, or killed a baby wrongly, or even an animal wrongly, right? I mean, I've hit animals with my car on accident, and I came back to the family and, offered penance, asked for forgiveness, told them I was sorry. But more than that, right? I had another friend, they fucked up at a party. I won't get into details on this one. But after that, I made the two boys go over there, mow those people's lawn, and, take care of the house and all kind of stuff because they went to a party and they fucked up. And after it was done, the people at the party said, all right, it's all for, shit happens. Everybody's drunk and so forth, and let it go. Right? Okay, so it's done. And they don't have to carry any kind of guilt around with them. Right? They made it good. Okay, so you got to figure out what makes it good for you in your situation. It's a personal thing. A lot of times you get a priest involved or some other person in the clergy. You don't necessarily need to. The Jesus told you, the Christ Jesus said, you can go direct if you want. But sometimes these people can tell you, and the idea is to assuage your conscience, right? Because you're carrying around guilt. It's going to wind up causing difficulty. It's going to come out one way or another. So get rid of the guilt, right? Get the forgiveness. And then concept number 3, can't serve self without serving others, right? And see, this is what the demons do. This is what the satanic worshipers do. This is what the Luciferians do, is they tell you that, oh no, you can serve self. You can just serve self. You don't have to serve others. In fact, you can rape children and you can put control files on people and tell them to do atrocious things and make you money and so forth. And, have a woman whore her body out and then give you the cash that she earned, or children, or, I mean, it just goes on forever. You can win money fighting dogs or chickens or whatever the hell it is, right? Roosters. But there's karma there, right? Causing two innocent creatures to harm each other for your enjoyment and aggrandizement and wealth. Enrichment is the word I was looking for. And aggrandizement, because I know guys that, my fighting chicken is the best fighting chicken. And they get wealth out of that. Prestige out of that, because, that guy get good fighting chickens, bro. But I mean, the bottom line is what we have here going on is a great awakening. People are starting to figure out that, there might be a little more going on here than you think. And you're watching an excellent, excellent show. And they managed to get 50 million new chattel properties to repledge and say that they need representation. 50 million. Can you do the math? What's 5,000? Let's just say they write 5,000 in bonds per month on that 50 million on those voter registrations. How much money is that? I mean, it works out to, it's crazy how much money they have that they don't tell you about. And they'll always tell you that, there's a deficit. No, this is a wealthy nation. And they'll always tell you that we're in debt. Who do you owe the money to? Yeah, because every time they write these bonds and every time they create this wealth, what does the Federal Reserve do? They loan it to United States Corporation at interest. And then we're on the hook for it. So right now, what you see is guys that one guy that kind of sort of wants to spend your money a little more wisely, but make no mistake, he's making himself and his friends wealthy with deals that are gonna right. Okay, and then you got another guy that's even more blatant, where they want to make money off of war. They want to make money off of trade deals that are just insane and enslave you even worse. Right, because the one side, the conscious Whigs, we call them Republicans. They're Masons, and they want you to have a job, right? They want you just over broke, Job. They want you to, right, make them money because now when you got your job, you got to pay taxes. So every hour you work, they get a piece of that. State, federal, local, often gets a piece of that. You need to go to work. You got to buy some gas. They get a piece of that. Gonna buy a car. Ooh, sales tax and all kind of tax on that. Ooh, you want to drive the car? Pay us some money so you can have a license. Ooh, need some insurance for that thing, don't you? And you're going to pay tax on all that stuff, right? And then, the car is going to need fixing. Give us some money when you fix your car, right? In sales tax. You need parts? Yeah, we're going to tax that too. Yeah, we're just going to take a little bit, right? They got a system set up that is designed to fuck you from cradle to grave, right? Extract wealth from you from cradle to grave. And once you become aware of the system, what are you going to do about it? Just like I tell my friends now. All right, so in Hawaii, you have now seen blatantly that they steal elections, right? We know it every year. But see, this year, I actually went down to two times just to go observe. Just sat there in a chair and watched. And it was fun because there were hot chicks dancing. I mean, it was a party. Flag waving, sign waving, and so forth for Trump. All right, on the main thoroughfare here, a place called Ka'ahumanu Avenue in front of Ka'ahumanu Center, which it's our queen Ka'ahumanu. It's the favorite of Kamehameha. And there's a whole other story there of the people that were absolutely co-opted by the Masons, but we're going to skip all of that. But anyway, in front of Ka'ahumanu Center, I'm going to go, I'd say 100 to 1, right? Because there's plenty of this, right? There's plenty of people like this and beeping their horns and doing this. But overall, it was beeping their horns, flashing the lights, and waving and smiling and support. And I'm going to say it wasn't 10 to 1. It wasn't 10 cars in support for every one of these. And then, of course, there were a lot of cars that just went by and pretended like they weren't there. But I sat there and watched. And I'm telling you, it was easy 50 to 1 support of people going by, honking their horns, supporting the people that were waving flags for Trump. Oh, yeah, see? On Maui, right? This is Democrat Central. That shit doesn't happen here. They love the Democrats. Oh, they love the Democrats, right? They don't like Republicans here. And we had Trump supporters on the wide. And it wasn't like rich white people. It wasn't, right? It was everyone. There were Filipinos there. There were Asians there. There were Hawaiians there. There were, of course, there were Hollies there and fair-skinned people there. There were it's Hawaii. So every walk of life was represented at that Trump rally. Every walk of life. Filipinos. And I mean, FOB Filipinos, fresh off the boat. Multi-generation Filipinos, that had been here, plantation family. I mean, they probably lived on this island 5-6 generations, or maybe at least 5. People that Pacific Islanders, everybody was out there, and in the cars going by, there were right. Those are local people, right? It wasn't these weren't aliens. And by the way, the islands are locked down, so we don't have tourists. So it wasn't tourists it wasn't tourists for Trump. It was local people beeping their horn for these people that were all right. And now go look at our voter results. I mean, there was one rally there that there were like 400 people, and on Maui, that's a large number, right? Where you come from, right? There's only 100,000 people on the whole island, so for 400 people to show up, and see, this is the thing that you got to do the math. It's 20/80. Right, so about 20% showed up. The other 80 stayed home, and whatever it is, right? Even like a rock concert, still 20/80 generally. There are a lot of people that like so and so, but they won't get out of their house and go through the hassle and park the car and go down to the concert. So overall, if you feel the law of 20/80 is a thing, figure for every person that was at a Trump rally here on the island, there were 5 times as many at home. All right, so now let's go take a look at the voter rolls. And you see that no, in Hawaii, it still looked like everybody liked Biden. Really, Biden with his laptop. Really, Biden with being caught red-handed corruption. Really, Biden with the son that has torture porn on his computer. But Biden, the guy that can't remember if he's running for president or Senate. The guy that calls Trump George, the guy. I mean, really, really. They have Trump derangement syndrome, and yeah, they do. But I mean, they have Trump derangement syndrome to the degree that it was 2-1 in Hawaii for Trump. I mean, for Biden, not for Trump. I don't believe it. I saw with my own eyes. I saw too many people driving by, honking their horns. I saw too many people that were, and you think all those people in Trump rally just like went to the Trump rally week after week after week and then didn't go vote? Are you fucking out of your minds? All right, but Hawaii, blue state, so everybody just goes, right? Because we have vote fraud here every year. There's a woman, good-looking woman, ran for governor. No. The little guy that has locked down the state, destroyed our tourist industry, wiped out our hotels, have now Front Street, one of the lovely places on Maui, that had all kind of art galleries and restaurants, completely boarded up now. Right? No, that's who they wanted, right? And that's who they continue to support. The people that have absolute. I mean, we got bread lines now. Well, we don't call them bread lines, and because of the COVID, they're not actually standing there person to person. They're in their cars. So the cars go for miles looking for a bag of groceries. A lot of times it's one bag of groceries they're handing out. It seems to me they spent more money, almost the same money in gas as they did, right, just idling their car, waiting to get as they would have gotten out of the groceries. So 6-1, half done the other. But anyway, free food. And people are saying, I mean, over here, there was one of the farms that usually supplies the hotels with their luau's and so forth. Oh, they got no orders from the hotels, so they had sweet potato and I think they had kalo and breadfruit, right? The sides that they use, and of course there's pigs and so on. For the emu, for the kalua pig, right? A Hawaiian luau. So all the condiments or the extra stuff, like I said, like the haupia, which is made from coconut, and sweet potato. Anyway, they had lots of that stuff left, so they had literally boxes on a truck, and they were like, "Come take the sweet potatoes, like." Just come take them. We don't. I mean, just better than throwing them away. Eat them. The line was miles, and miles, miles. Not like a few feet, not like a few hundred feet. I mean, it was miles. All right, and you see this over and over again in Democrat states for the most part. Really, so they voted for that. In Wisconsin, same thing. Really, and Minnesota, the people that shut their place down and burned their city, they voted for that. They voted for them again. Really. You believe that, right? Because the mainstream media, that's how powerful they are. In Michigan, same thing, really. The people of Michigan that were devastated by the policies of the Democrats, shipping off our auto industry and more off to foreign places, all manufacturing, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. They voted for those guys, not the guy that brought manufacturing back. Do you believe it? It's true, though, a lot of times that they won't vote in their best interest, but most of the time, people are smart enough to vote in their best interest, right? I mean, they don't vote for free stuff. They vote, and that's the thing. Most of your American countrymen, they're willing to work hard. They're willing to make it their way. Give them a chance, and they'll do their thing. But that's not what happened, is it? What they're trying to tell you is that, no, that red wave was a mirage. That Pennsylvania, just look at the map, right? We'll start Pennsylvania, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, which stayed blue. But no, all of those states, that wasn't really for Trump. Look, we found a whole bunch of ballots today. It's awesome. Come on. Enjoy yourself. It was a trap. They knew that they were going to cheat. Like I said, I know they were going to cheat. You know they were going to cheat. Everybody knew that. The dog knew that. The parakeet knew. Everybody knew. People in Uruguay know that they were going to cheat. People in Europe are watching, going, "Yeah, look at those Americans talking about democracy again, and they can't even fucking hold an election." Right? I mean, we are the laughing stock of the world again. But they're a little afraid of us because the dumb kid has nukes, right? The fucking retarded kid on the block has the most powerful weapons. Anyway, so the idea being is that we got some work to do, to say the least. You got some work to do. You want to denature this beast. You want to take this thing apart. You want to stop them from having. Well, then quit freaking feeding the beast, right? That was, I think it was a Star Trek thing, and that was shoot, what was the one with the man-eating plant that got bigger and bigger and bigger and finally took things over? Anyway, just quit feeding the freaking plant. right? Quit feeding the beast. The way you quit feeding the beast is cancel your bonds, right? Kill your bonds. They hate you when you kill your bonds. I believe that's the, did I write it here? Oh, yes, I did write it here. I just got to find it. Let's see. Not that one. Oh, find out about the peace treaties that you're involved in, right? Because you can't claim rights that you don't know about. But you have treaties, and see, here's where I started figuring that part out. Ooh, they trick you into becoming a voter instead of becoming an elector. So rescind your voter registration and tell them that you want to become an elector instead. And the way you're going to do that is by rescinding your bonds. Oh, he's talking crazy now. Let's see here. Not that. Not even that. Ooh, this. Oh, what's this? I printed this out because I'm getting ready for it. Getting ready to do it. This is an official U.S. voting trust termination ballot. I'm going to vote to terminate my trust. I'm going to vote to get rid of that guy that is on there. And you know, a thing, and I know one of the guys that is involved in that, you know, one of the things you could do to send as evidence and put a void on it is one of your checks. Right? Because your check has the name of the estate, has the name on it, and it has a line on there that says authorized signature, because that's it. You're authorized to represent that trustee. All right, and then my page declarations, right? But I'm going to keep my declarations really brief. Why don't I just do that? That was I believe it was Jonah Bay that did that. I'll keep those together because I got to make mine nice. Not that, not that, not that. Sorry. See, I've gotten to the point where I just like pages and pages of notes. But they're mind maps, so they're easy to find. All I got to do is see it, and I will have it. Oh, there's another voter thing. I'm figuring out how I'm going to make my ballot, right? Because make it a little old homemade ballot and let them know. There you go. This one is my page notes. So what you want to do is it's reversion of estate. You want to kill your bonds. You want to claim your estate. You want to get rid of and fire the attorney general in your state who thinks that they're a trustee and can manage or what's the word I want? Administer your estate for you. And you're going to tell them, no, you can't, right? I'm revoking my power of attorney from you. Let's see here. Unum sanctum. Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. We're not going to talk about jobs. Do I have one? I think I have a couple of them, actually. Yes, I do. I'm reaching in my pocket. Oh, yeah, look at these. Got a couple of them here. Just tapping it. All right, so, what is this? You think it's money. It's not money. This is currency. All right, and what it really is, I wrote it down, it's a licensed voucher transfer instrument of debt. What I'm basically doing is transferring my debt to you. They pay us fucking ignorant slaves in debt. This is not evidence of wealth. This is not, right? I can turn it into evidence of wealth by buying gold or silver with it. But this is evidence of debt. The Federal Reserve loans this to us at interest. No, they don't. You know why? Because our Lady of Grace Trump took the Federal Reserve, folded it into the private corporation known as United States Treasury, right? So the Department of the Treasury, not the Treasury Department, is now the Federal Reserve as part of that. And he lowered interest rates to 0. So now he can borrow as much of this paper as he wants. Costs us nothing. Don't tell me the fucking man's not a genius, right? I mean, I got issues with Trump. I got issues all day with Trump. But the man's a fucking genius, right? I mean, he's a genius, straight up. He's not a dumbass. He's not the guy that they're trying to make him seem like, oh, he's an incompetent businessman. Bullshit. The man has, if anybody's going to take us through bankruptcy, it's not Biden. It's going to be Trump. Just on that one thing alone, you know, they set a trap. And they're putting up a really super duper lovely show for you to get all involved in and worry about. I have friends that are actually worried about that. I have a friend of mine, a woman, she was literally crying. I'm like, crying? I thought, no, Democrats cry over this stuff. We don't cry over this stuff. We just, everything's fine. Anyway, It was a moment of weakness. She's better now. But I mean, for fuck's sake. It's just an election. These are just ideas. And yeah, it makes a difference because when I leave my house, I'm supposed to put a mask on. So yes, these ideas have, yes, I get it. But at the same time, and yeah, that's what Biden wants to do. Biden wants to do nationwide mandatory masking. Really? The nation went for that, right? We all want to wear masks and mandatory lockdowns. We all want to stay home. Okay. There was a great one. It's like, I promise I'll make, my constituents will have more jobs than ever. And Biden's all, my constituents don't want jobs, which is practically true. Anyway, what you're going to do is a notice of non-consent, basically. And you're going to exercise your free will. But you're not going to do any of that stuff until you've done reading and you don't sound like a dumbass, right? So you're going to read, and then you're going to read some more, and then you're going to watch some videos, and then you're going to read. And then you're going to understand why this, right? Because, yeah, gubernatorial license and mayoral license comes with license, and it comes with the consent of the people. And when they break that gubernatorial license, they are bonded in case they do, and you can sue the bond. You wouldn't want to sue the man. That would be ungentlemanly of you. But you can sue the fuck out of their bonds, right? What else was I going to do? Oh, yeah, you want to know the difference between trustor and trustee, right? Because you actually have unlimited capacity, and they stick you in two spots at once. Now, here's the thing, if you understand trust law, is, how long am I going? Oh, fuck, it's time to quit already. All right, so there's three positions here. All right, this is trustee. And guess what? There's a trust. Anyway, go watch some videos from Patrick Devine. And there's a trustee there that you need to kind of let him know that you're coming out from under the horror of Babylon. So trustee, over here is beneficiary. And over here is the grantor, or in this case, since I use trustee, I'm going to use trustor. That's the guy that created the trust. That's the bit, right. So these two people can be the same, but these two people can never be the same. The trustee and the beneficiary are not the same, but they do. They put your all caps name. The name is the trustee. Okay. Also, you can change these words to say grantor and grantee and beneficiary, and you can say bailor, bailee, and bailments. Yeah, the beneficiary gets the bailments. Let's see here. But understand trust law. So you're going to have to understand some trust law. Go get Trust Law for Dummies. It's like this thing, right? Go read it. Contract law. You're going to have to know contract law. Right? You want to get out of these contracts, these secret contracts, these secret liens, and these secret agreements, and you're going to have to know the difference between illegal and unlawful. Not the same. See, because the corporations, yeah, they do legal business. They've been contracted to do legal business. And the legal business is administering the estates of all us fucking slaves that don't know we're slaves. You see, that was the best thing they ever did, is they got you to think that you were free men that were voting for representation in this republic, and it turns out not. And they actually gave you disclosure. I remember a movie very clearly where this guy was way off. He was a general in the Roman army, and he was way off, and he was winning, of course, because he had the superior technology. But at the same time, he was far, far away from Rome, and he'd even taken a wife that was a native of that land and so forth. And she had kind of told, one of those let my people be free thing. But he was all about the Roman Empire and the Republic and giving these people a form of government and so on, and taming the wild and so on. And then he finally gets called back to Rome, and he finds out that Rome isn't what he thought it was, right? That it had changed while he was off on these campaigns for 20 or 30 years. And when he got back there, the Republic was pretty much gone. Okay, that republic is pretty much gone. The republic that you thought you were part of in 1776 and Declaration of Independence and United States of America Constitution, yeah, that's not what you're part of. And your birth certificate tells you that you're not part of that. And you reiterated it when you signed your registration to vote, which is what this whole fucking theater is about, is getting you to sign of your own volition. Nobody's making you. Nobody's pointing a gun at your head. Is to sign that voter registration form and tell them that, yeah, you need representation. You need us to represent you. You can't represent yourself. You can't present yourself in a court of law. You're not pro se. You're presenting yourself. You're in impropria persona. You are a actual man, right? Man. Right? I mean, anyway. Okay. Let's see. You are that infant that is on the birth certificate, but you've grown up and you're no longer a ward of the state, and you've been negligent because when you turned 25, you didn't inform them of anything. You didn't do anything. You didn't do your paperwork. So anyway, in your infinite capacity, they get you confused over here. And what you have to do is fire that trustee. And if the trust has no trustee, although here is, I got to look at this. I got to show you this. Sorry, I should have been here. Oh, shoot, what am I writing? I'm, oh, and I'm in the wrong browser, so it won't come up immediately. Let's see if it'll come up. So I'm looking at maxims of law. And there's maxim of equity. All right, I got to go to a different browser. Hold on, I'm sorry. But no, this is important because the idea is that this trustee right here, well, anyway, hold on. Let's see if I can find this. And I believe it was 20, oops, let's, oh, maxims of equity shows up. That's not what I want. Unfun it. I was giving Greg Hunter a hard time about this because when you're on the fly, it seems like forever. Am I gonna get it here? And of course, and you know what? It's linked under a couple of my videos, but for some reason, I suddenly can't find it. Sorry, endless apologies. It should come up, and of course it's not coming up because I want to look at it now, so no. All right, fine. If I wasn't in a rush trying to find it, I'm sure I'd find it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, all right, finally. The law is cool. And now it won't load. Okay, there you go. Finally, here it is. All right, so here are some of the list of maxims. This is about equity. But one of the things, and why I brought it up, is that equity follows the law. Equity will not aid a volunteer. Equity will not allow a statute to be used as a cloak for fraud. Bam. Equity will not allow a trust to fail for want of a trustee. That was the one I was looking for. That's the 19th one. Equity will not allow a trust to fail for want of a trustee. So in other words, this trust won't fail just because you fired your trustee. You will now have a constructive trust because what you're going to find is that your trustees were fucking you, quite literally, by writing all manner of bonds. Like, okay, take, for example, a situation that I'm in. I have a court case wherein I'm doing some homeschooling, and see, there's a lot of homeschoolers, and we've talked to each other now. All right, what's the maximum penalty for truancy here in the state of Hawaii? Maximum penalty for truancy, it's a petty misdemeanor, it's $1,000, right? No jail time, nothing. Most they can charge is $1,000. You didn't send your kid to school, give us $1,000. Right? And that's the maximum they can charge you. They can charge you $100, whatever the judge decides, right? Okay, so the maximum they can charge me is $1,000 for not sending my son to a school where he has to scrap every day. And in Hawaii, scrapping fight, that, right? I mean, that's just, Hawaii schools are tough, simple as that. I put him there when he was, well, actually, I didn't. It was against my will. But I figured in my mind, same thing as me. I went to some pretty rugged schools on this island. And as my mom said, toughen you up, right? I walk among men. I have very little fear because I know what it's like to get punched in the face by 3 or 4 guys at a time. Right? I know what it's like to rough and tumble with guys that are a lot bigger than me playing football. It's not so bad, right? It's okay. Same thing with him. He knows what it's like to get punched in the face. Him I'm talking about is my oldest boy. He knows what it's like to get punched in the face. He knows what it's like to punch somebody in the face. Right? But they were children. It's not permanent damage. But once you start getting into high school, now it gets to be problematic. All right, so pulled him out. All right, well, then they're saying, hey, I didn't sign any documents. I'm not on the birth certificate. I'm not on the forms that register in school, right? I didn't do any of that, right? That was the other parent that did that against my will. And when it came to high school, definitely against his will. All right, so he didn't go. Long story short, let's make the story short. Long story short, he didn't go. All right, so what's the maximum penalty? $1,000. All right, why are you motherfuckers writing bonds on my? All right, I can show you Series E bonds based on that case number that is written for more than $5,000, and they're $10,000 bonds. All right, so my trustees have been ripping off my trust, writing bonds on my trust without my consent or knowledge. Those are the secret liens and secret agreements, because they're wards of the state and they can do this stuff if they want to. Right, so what I'm going to do is fire my trustee. Fire that name, and fire all of them as trustees also. So the Attorney General, the Secretary of State, anybody in the county of Maui, none of you guys have authority to write anything on me anymore. Right? I'm revoking my power of attorney. You may not sign any document, anything for me. Not anything in the background when it comes to the driver's license. Not anything in the background when it comes to anything. Right? You're fired. Okay, but you got to let them know. You can't just, like I said, you can't just stand on the side of the road and say, I don't consent, because you're going to get hit, probably, or at least you're going to get the ticket, or at least, just that's a bad idea. So what you want to do is fire this trustee. But see, just firing the trustee doesn't destroy the trust. It kills the bonds, though. The trust is still going to exist, and what you're going to do is you're going to move this whole trust into the de jure government under the Department of under the Treasury Department, right? It's already in the Department of the Treasury of the corporation called United States. What you want to do is remove from there, collapse those bonds and trusts, and get moved over to the de jure. And the way you're going to do that is by voting yourself out, by claiming your right of suffrage. You have the right to vote, the right to veto, right? As an elector, not as a voter. Right? You don't want voter registration, and there is no elector registration that I could find. But you're going to notice them and let them know, and then make them recognize you. And you're going to do it 30 days at a time. Hey, I sent this to you 30 days ago. Hey, I sent this to you 30 days ago. Hey, all right. But here's the thing. There is a trustee that you can get in touch with, and I'm not going to try and call that up, but it is actually, maybe I am. I'll tell you what, I'll put a link underneath here, because I have that, but I believe I even actually have that bookmarked. But the idea is, go there, and there's a guy that is a trustee, the United States trustee, and then you're going to have to inform some of these people, and you're going to have to know what to say to them. And from what I can tell, you want to use this thing, right? You don't want to type it out on your computer and print it. You really do want to pen mightier than sword. Okay. I'm done. And only an hour and 33 minutes. Oh, wait, there's a whole bunch more over here. Yeah, let's see here. Will become any state that's a heavily Democrat state. So West Coast, Virginia, maybe, New York for sure. All those New England little states, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, perhaps Maine. I've been to Maine. I can't see those people. I mean, it's like Maui. All the people in Maine know each other. They got small towns, and even their big cities are just small towns. So, like Portland and so forth, they ain't no city. And anyway, you can call it a city, but it's barely a city. And everybody knows each other. So, see, in communities like that, you're not going to see rioting. But in places like San Francisco, where nobody knows anybody, or LA, or Portland, or Salem, or Seattle, yeah, or even Spokane. I was amazed at Spokane. I've been to Spokane. There's another one. That's another big, small town. But at the same time, they managed to have some rioting go on there, right? Because I can tell you the truth. Here in Hawaii, I don't expect much of any rioting, because anybody that goes into Wailuku or Kahului or any of our places and starts breaking stuff and burning stuff, yeah, we'll follow them home and burn their houses down. Everybody knows everybody on this island, right? And it's an island on top of that. You don't just drive away, right? You don't cross state lines. You got to get on a plane to get here. I'm not worried about Hawaii, but I am worried, and I'm not even worried. I mean, just like what? I'm going to watch from a distance. I don't know these people. Burn yourselves down. I don't give a shit. I mean, oh well. But yeah, no matter what. Oh, thanks. Aw. And all right, that's it. Okay, so I quit right there. Go back and watch this thing. There are some other videos that I don't link certain videos. I don't put them underneath anymore because I know I'm marked like I'm marked, right? I'm fucking amazed that I can even make these videos because everybody else got kicked. In fact, I'm a little ashamed and embarrassed that they haven't kicked me off of YouTube, right? Because they kicked off SGT Report, Jordan Slather, right? Because those guys actually had followers, right? I'm too much of a, right? I'm not a tall poppy. Nobody notices me, right? And the one thing that they have done is I had a couple of videos, both on health that I know some of you guys, I don't know about this crew, but I know some of you guys had embedded some of my videos on sulfur and, cures and so forth. What did YouTube do? They changed it so that it doesn't have the, it's not safe for children or whatever. They changed the age rating. So now when you embed it, you can't. You have to come and watch it on YouTube. It won't show up on the page that it's embedded in and so forth, right? It's just subtle censorship, right? But again, like I said, I obviously haven't made enough noise and haven't said the wrong things often enough to get banned off of YouTube. Obviously not doing my part. But the idea is that it's coming. It's definitely coming. And so I don't want to get other people in trouble. So I put some code in other video. Like, go watch some of these guys' videos and go find out about what I'm talking about here. They'll tell you. I will put a video, or not a video, but a link to the United States trustee. Wait, maybe I can even find that and I'll read it to you here on fast one. Thank you for bearing with me. There it is. It's the Department of Justice. There it is. U.S. Trustee Program. So you need to get in touch with this guy, and this is not the right page, but all right. So anyway, the Department of Justice, they have trustees, the U.S. Trustee Program. Did you know that there were trustees in the Department of Justice? I didn't. But these are some of the people that you need to talk to and let them know, hey, by the way, you know the trust that I have? Yeah, I'm collapsing that. And see, that's not the page I wanted, but it is the Department of Justice, United States Trustees. Oh, dear. Maybe you should know a thing or two about that. Like I said, we're so fucking ignorant. And the reason why we're ignorant is 100% on purpose. But an equity, a maximum at law is that, notice I didn't say in law, a maximum at law is the fact that, and have you heard attorney at law, right? Meantime, your mother-in-law. Anyway, the idea being is that they kept us ignorant on purpose, but ignorance is negligence, right? Ignorance of the law is no excuse for not knowing the law. Okay, so now you know you're ignorant of these things. Now it's time to go find out about these things. Start reading. Start educating yourself so you can educate others. Now, here's what I'm going to say is most of the others aren't ready for this education whatsoever. And a lot of them are happy to be U.S. persons that have civil liberties and civil rights and get Social Security benefits and all that kind of stuff, and unemployment benefits, and they get usufruct to their car and all kind of fun stuff. But maybe what you want to do, if you become educated and decide that maybe you don't want to be part of the United States corporation anymore, maybe you don't want to fund these wars anymore, maybe you want to fund drug wars and putting people in jail for growing plants. Oh, here's something you see. Oh, speaking of the election and growing plants, pot won big time. Arizona legalized, I can't remember the list, that was on Normal's website just recently, but multiple states now either did medical or legalization. But Oregon took it a step further, and they decrimmed hard drugs. They decrimmed coke and heroin and all that stuff. Go take a look at I'll put a link below too, if I can remember it. Go take a look at what happened when Portugal did that. because everybody said it was going to be the end of the world. And Portugal decriminalized, and drug overdose went down, and drug treatment went down. Everything went down when they decriminalized the hard drug. They decriminalized all of it, right? They didn't say it was legal. They just decriminalized it, right? You're not a criminal anymore. Maybe you need treatment. Maybe you need some help, right? And that help doesn't come in the form of a billy club to the back of the head and jail time. Actual help, right? And sure enough, sure as shit, go take a look. Portugal's drug program has been an astounding success. And our government fucking hates it because what do they want? They want you in prison. They want you to pay. And see, this is the thing. Keep trying to shut up here, but the bottom line is they want their Democrat guys and the Republican, anybody, just get you guys to riot. And what are they going to do? Round you up and take you to prison. Now, if they got the Antifa and Black Lives Matter guys to do that, and the Republicans are more than happy to pay taxes to jail those guys. See how it works? Right? Just keep you guys fighting, right? And these guys will pay to cage those guys. I don't want to cage anybody, right? You're a fucking idiot if you tore down a statue and you burned a place. But you know what? Fuck it. We'll let it go, right? Because the Christ said, right? Forgive those who trespass, right? Maybe you should be held to account and do some restitution and help the stores that you burned down and so on and so forth. Right, and the employees and so on. So maybe, right, okay, but again, not my call. I'm not your keeper, and you're not your brother's keeper either. But you can see that your brother might need keeping, which is why many of my friends decided that they would become sheriffs and policemen and marshals and so on, right? Because give your friends a chance to fuck up, and apparently they will. But the idea is that once you become an elector, once you rescind your voter registration, once you kill the trust, well, you can't kill the trust, but you can get rid of the trustee and set up a constructive trust. When this is de facto anyway. I mean, once you get rid of the trustee and you realize that this whole thing is going on here, and you let them know that, hey, you're fired, you don't have power of attorney, I'm firing this guy, I am the guy that can vote, I have the one share, I have suffrage rights, I can get rid of power of attorney, and I can get rid of the trustee. Yeah, okay. And you kill all those bonds. Yeah, now you're not paying for caging your fellow man. Now you're not caging people that grow plants. Now you're not dropping bombs on children in the Middle East and paying for that, because you are paying for that. Whether you, I don't care how much of a pacifist you are paying for that. They write bonds on you every fucking month. Maybe you don't want to be part of any of this. Fuck, you know, this shit show, right? It was the first comment. What a shit show. It is a shit show. Would you like to extract yourself from the shit show? Then maybe, just maybe, you could start here or chain to the sky, right? And I have the PDF. You could go look the PDF for fruits from a poisonous tree. Fruit from a poisonous tree. Find this PDF. It's not hard to find. Well, as much fumbling as I just did is how long it'll take you to find this. All right, you start with that, and then you're gonna need to know a thing or two about the grammar fare and word fare that they commit against you on a consistent basis. The hyphens mean something. Of, at, in. The little words mean something. The capitalization means something. The lack of capitalization means something. E. Cummings turns out to be. Anyway, the point is that you have the ability to set yourself free. You have the ability to stop funding this madness and take control of your estate. Quit having people administer your estate on your without your consent, and get recognized as an elector. Get recognized. You got to get recognized first, right? So you have to have the paperwork come back. So then, and then you're going to write simple, right, to the Secretary of State. Hey, I need to travel. I'm a man. I need documents that reflect that. I mean, it's going to be a little more complicated than that, but I mean, that's the basis of it. IRS, hey, by the way, I'm alive, right? I'm non-decedent. I am that infant, but I'm not an infant anymore, and I don't need your warding and so forth. Hey, Secretary of State of your state, not the federal corporation. By the way, I'm a man. I'm living in your area. I'm living there. I'm not a resident of. I'm a non-resident alien of your state. And in my case, for sure, I was born in this other state. Now I live in this state. And I've lived here my whole life since I was 5. But I wasn't born here. I was born in this other place, which makes me, because of the birth laws in this country and the various several states, that makes me a state citizen. Ooh, you thought you were a state citizen. Or maybe you thought you were a U.S. person, but you don't want to be a U.S. person. You want to be a state citizen. Okay. All of that, right? You're going to have to educate yourself. Okay. Now, for my part, educating you, I'm going to do this. I'll make videos, right? And then I can see the thing. But I don't want to deal with you in person, right? I don't want to deal with you on the phone. Why? Because as a group, you're atrocious, right? We are dumbasses. And so educate yourself. And if you try to go out there and educate many others, you're going to get frustrated. I guarantee it, because they got a mask on and they're going to tell you you're crazy. And they're going to, oh, I didn't learn this in public school and I went to university and I didn't learn this at Emory and I didn't learn this at fucking Harvard and I didn't learn this at MIT. You're fucking crazy. Because of course my masters would tell me how to get out of the system, right? They would inform me what a fucking fraud this is and how to get out of it, because, you know, they want us well educated. And yeah, your experience should tell you different. You should be able to look around and see. No, they want you being a dumbass. They want your children not to be able to barely write or read. They want it so that you can barely do mathematics. They certainly don't want you being able to do logic and reasoning. They just want you smart enough to pull the levers and never ask what the levers do. That's what they want. George Carlin told you this. Bill Hicks told you this. Voltaire told you this. Many of the other philosophers told you that. I can't the name, right? Socrates, everybody else, right? Socrates, all these guys told you. What was the other one? There was another one. Oh crap. Anyway, they all told you that this was the case. Okay, maybe you should start believing them. Maybe you're not smarter than them. Maybe you should educate yourself. E pluribus unum. Get after it, people, and don't let that. It's theater, right? And the Democrats stepped into yet another trap. Just watch. Trump is still president until January 1st, no matter what they do. And that's a lot of time for his attack dogs to go expose fraud in Wisconsin, expose fraud in Pennsylvania is famous for it, and they just keep getting away for it. Getting away with it. And so is Florida. But notice they didn't try Florida this time. But Pennsylvania, they're going to expose the fraud. Arizona, oh my God, that's going to be so easy. Are you kidding me? I mean, really? Have you been to Arizona? It flipped blue. That's like them telling you Texas was going to flip blue. Wisconsin, another place that they're going to show fraud. I'm pretty sure Nevada, they're going to show vote fraud. Really, the people that had their casinos and their livelihoods taken out from underneath them, and they voted for the blue guys. That really, okay. Who else? Probably North Carolina. They should be able to show some vote fraud there. But I mean, there's fraud all over the place. All right, so now they're going to be able to prove fraud, and they got 60 days. They got serious lawyers. Giuliani, I can't remember Trump's personal lawyer. But there's a cadre of lawyers that would fucking eat my lunch in a court of law, and yours. So do you want? I feel bad. Well, no, I don't. I'm interested to see what happens. I don't feel bad for them, but I'm expecting these lawyers to fucking take these guys down. And it was a trap. I'm telling you, it was a trap. It was a trap. Like I said, everybody knew that this was going to happen. I expected this in 2016 and was pleasantly surprised when he just kind of slid in. I was hoping, and I was wrong, obviously, that this would be an uncontested election and Trump would just slide in again and it would be fine and he would keep doing his Trump thing. But that's obviously not going to be the case. They wanted to put on a really big show this time. A really big show. You guys aren't old enough. Anyway, my Ed Sullivan is very, very bad. I don't have a good impression of Ed Sullivan. But anyway, a really big show, folks. Is coming up. And so for the next 60 days, it's a great show. You're going to have stuff to talk about at Thanksgiving. You're going to have stuff to talk about at Christmas. And then in January, don't forget that January 1st, drug prices are going down because that's another thing that Trump did. And there's no question. And that's another reason why. Do you think the pharmaceutical companies want this motherfucker in office? He gave most favored nation status and is like promoting things like hydroxychloroquine, which is a drug that they can't barely make any money off. The pills cost nothing, right? So of course he talked about the other most expensive ones. But the idea being is that nobody likes this guy. The war machine doesn't like this guy. The military-industrial complex, that's the war machine, doesn't like this guy. The pharmaceutical, medical industrial complex doesn't like this guy. The prison industrial complex doesn't like. Nobody likes this guy. Nobody. So they would do their best, but they ain't getting him out. There's more going on here, and I have to tell this to somebody else, and I'm not going to get crazy, but there's more going on here now than just the bullshit politics of planet Earth. And I'll leave it at that. But the idea is no. The demons are gonna stay in power and keep fucking with us and so forth. This isn't like this isn't the one fell swoop that ends everything. But the continuous battle that's going on, we beat them every time before. We beat them 9 times in a row. You guys just don't remember. But anyway, we beat them every time. There's gonna be is it a war? Yes. Is there gonna be casualties? Yes. So there is no such thing as a war without casualties. So your job is to make sure that your children and your wife or your husband are not part of the casualties, right? Your dumbass friends, you can't do anything about them. Now, you can try to educate them. The best way to educate them is to lead by example. Right? So I have all these people telling, oh, they're going to come kill you. All right, let them come kill me. Is that how they keep us down? Yeah, that's how they keep us down. Like I said, you're all afraid. You're all freaking Pharisees that think that this is it. They've turned into Jews. I'm sorry, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian more. Right? And I absolutely positively believe in life everlasting. Positively. Not even, no question. Right? Not even a question for me. All right, so if you believe that, then what are you afraid of? And if God is on your side, who the fuck's standing against you? Right? Some of you guys, you pay lip service, and I don't go to church on Sundays. I haven't been to church on Sunday in forever. And I'm pissed at a lot of my friends that we could have ended this in April, because if all the fucking Christians just would have went to church and then got arrested or had the police come. Are you fucking kidding me? Amendment number 1, right? But no, chicken shits, they all stayed home. All right. So now we're locked down, right? But they could have made a stand, right? And don't fucking tell me that I'm just talking shit here on this thing, because I had 3 fucking armed men, large armed men, telling me to put a mask on, and I told them no. Right? See, because men do that, right? Beta males, oh, okay, officer, oh, I'm sorry, oh, look, I'm protesting by putting this mask on. Right? I said, no, can't do it. And you can't make me. You're going to call me, right? You're going to haul me away to prison? You're going to take me off to jail? I'll bankrupt this fucking county. I didn't say that, but I mean, really? $1 a minute. Okay, so it's not about, right? It's not, you got to be able to stand your ground. And you got to be able to say yes or no, right? Yes, I agree. No, I don't agree. If you can't say no, right? Because I agree with a lot of this stuff that's happening, like, pulling our troops home and becoming energy independent. And I'm hoping for, well, not hoping. I know there's going to be disclosure. It's just going to take time. But all the different technologies that are going to be released and so forth, just wait. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fucking awesome. But it's not going to be awesome if you're dead, if you're not here to enjoy it. But the idea is that you got to be able to stand up and say no, or you're not living. And if you're afraid to die to the point where you'll just stay home and cower, why not just end it? Right? Because you're already dead as far as I'm concerned. Right? Chicken shit motherfuckers. All right. I hope you guys had a fun time with this, and there's plenty of fun information in here, and I wound up going for 2 hours again, even though I was only going to do an hour. And there's more books, there's so much to read. There's so little time. I wake up every day and it's like, fuck, there's like only so many hours in a day. I have another friend, because I was just doing, that the United States government, not some fucking crazy guy on the internet with bad hair and anyway, the United States government has admitted 7, not 1, not 2, not 3, 7 different craft that they have that are off-world. This isn't me. This is the Department of Defense. This is the United States government has come out, and that's not some republic. I'm talking about that corporation that rules you. Yeah, they've come out on more than one occasion now and said, yeah, we got off-world craft. They said it out loud. You can get it in writing. Yes, we have craft that was made not here on this planet. What do that mean? Okay, it's coming, my friends. It's coming, because I guarantee you those off-world craft had technology in there that would that they take for granted that would blow our minds, like us showing up to the Aborigines in Australia or New Guinea with a flashlight or even a lighter. Right? Oh, right. Just shit that we take for granted. No big deal. They have shit like that too. That would just, it looks like magic to us. And we got 7 of them, according to the United States government. Not me. Not some fucking guy that, yeah, I got this. Right? I got abducted by aliens and they offered me some chiclets and we was in the backyard. Anyway, and I got beamed up. No, not a crazy, not some, right? No, United States government, military men telling you that there are 7 discs, or, well, I don't even know if they're all discs. I just said off-world craft. Craft that were built off-world. What's in the, do you understand the propulsion? Do you understand? Anyway, it's coming. It's all coming, but it's no fun if you're dead. So educate yourself, educate others, prepare, get some food in the ground, get some food in storage, and 90 days, I don't think it's going to be enough when it comes down to it, but at least 90 days. Those of you that live, right, I live here where it's warm, I'm not too terribly worried about it, but some of you guys expect heavy, hard winter, so for that, prepare. Make sure you can make stuff that makes heat. Make sure that you can that you have food, so that if you get to the point where you can't get out of your driveway to go to the store, it's not an issue because you got it all in your house. Right? That was my grandma. My grandma always had a huge cellar. Right? She had a garden, even in her. It didn't matter what house we're in. She always had a garden, and then she always put up food. Right? It's called putting it up. At this time of year, right now, this would be the time. Be putting up all of it. Right? Butter pickles and canned everything. I mean, they canned every fucking thing. Why? For the winter. And they made sure that they had enough stores November, December, January, February, March, right? Usually 5 months of food, right? And these are poor people, right? My grandma's side of the family, and that's the white side, not the black side. Them was some poor people, right? Because they had been devastated in the, right? They didn't start out poor, but after the government had stolen their farms and after they fucked them enough, by the time it was over, they were pretty poor, right? They remembered what it was like to have some affluence and land and so forth, but that had all been taken away in the Depression. Anyhow, 5 months of food, they always had it up, right? When I was a child, right, we might not have had cool stuff and I didn't have the neatest clothes, but I was never hungry. I never was hungry. My grandma always used to say, right, you don't skimp on food. You can skimp on every other fucking thing, but you don't skimp on food. You don't make your bills on time, too bad. But you feed your kids, right? Feed your children, right? That's what's important, right? Feeding the fucking man, that's not what's important. But, right? So anyway, get that together. You might want to get water together. You might want to, as one guy was saying, turn your fucking electricity off for a weekend, right? And your family. So from Friday to Sunday, right? No electricity. How's that go? Right? Can you do it? And then go down to the thing and turn your water off. So now you got no water and no electricity. How do you do it? Right? Now you're glorified camping in your McMansion or wherever you're at. Right? Can you do it? Can you last a weekend? If you can't fucking do a weekend, how you can do a week? How you can do a month? Right? Hopefully none of this happens. Hopefully this is all crazy talk and that we just keep this, but there, as you can see, ain't no guarantees. Right? So the idea is that you want to prepare. And then the other thing, you want to have some of this laying around. Because this is, no matter what they say, I mean, this is trash, but right now, this is going to be the currency that everybody runs to, because they still believe, due to the fact that they do shit like that right there, that this is as good as gold. It's not. It's worth, this used to be money. When I was 18, this was money, right? This was a shit ton of money, right? When I was 16, this was... holy crap, what would this be? This would be like 50 fucking hours of labor, right? More than a week of laboring 8 hours a day, right? Now, my son makes this in fucking a day, right? Just pulling weeds and dicking around in wealthy people's properties and so forth, because they know rich people cutting their own grass, right? But back when right? Okay, this is, okay, so what you want to do is turn this into metal. Or food, or some other stuff. But you might want to have some laying around just in case you need gas, just in case you need stuff, just, right? Because you'll be able to barter with this. But eventually this goes to shit, because every single fiat currency in the history of the fucking world has gone to zero. Ours isn't going to be any different. This isn't going to, right? This is going to be paper. Same thing. You could take $35, bury it in the ground in 1933. What's that $35 worth? Well, maybe it's a little more, a little less than $35 now. Maybe the bills themselves had some pneumatic value, right? They're collectible and so forth. But if they were just $35, then it's $35. But if you took $35 in gold and put it in the ground, which, by the way, would have been about 1 ounce, what's that worth now? Last I checked, it was about $1,900. So you'd need $1,900, right? So you need 19 of these things to buy one of those little coins, right? Whereas before you needed a 20, a 10, and a 5. Now you need 19 of the ones that have the hundreds on them. All right. Clue. Just saying. All right. I've gone on enough, and I've talked about. All right, I don't know how this is all going to turn out by any stretch of the imagination. I know Trump's going to be president for another 4 years. That much I know, because, like I said, they set a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap, and it's going to be contested, and there's going to be all kind of noise. But Biden's laptop. Just understand that you're watching the last hurrah of the middlemen, right? Because as many others have said, and I can't prove. So I'm not even going to go there because I can't prove any of it. It's just hearsay and talk. But the bottom line is the ones that you've seen, the names that you know, the faces that you recognize, yeah, those are mid-level management at best, right? And I'm talking about Rothschilds and Soros and kings and queens and all of them people, the big families, Carnegie's and Loeb and all. There's them as mid-level managers. There's guys higher up, way higher up than that, that you'll never hear about. You'll never see their faces. Some of those guys have been taken out. Like I said, it's no longer about us. There's a bigger thing going on here. And if they're going to welcome us into the family, do you think they want AIDS-infected, ignorant, innumerate, barely can use language individuals? I'll use that term. Going into the family of entities, let's use that word. No. They want people that understand co-creation, understand basic hermetic principles, understand basic principles when it comes to manifestation and so forth and creation. That's what they want. They don't want angry, belligerent, drunk, drug-using, fucking infected creatures anywhere but here on quarantine Earth. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. But just understand, we're going up. Everything that's happening is for your, I won't say enlightenment, but advancement. How's that? Everything that's happening is for your advancement, all right? The wind is blowing. How do you set your sails? How do you deal with this? With all the things that are happening. You woke up on a planet that's ruled by demons and that rapes children, right? Demons who rape children, who traffic children, who do atrocious things, praying to their elder gods and so forth. Go. What do? You wake up and you realize, oh, wait a minute, I'm a bonded freeman. They've got bonds on me. They're writing bonds on me left and right. They've written bonds. I've found bonds. I've found all manner of bonds written on me now that I know what I'm looking for. Because before I was so fucking ignorant, I didn't know what to look for. If you've ever had a traffic ticket, if you've ever had a docket number, go look at that docket number when it was created. And there's a website you can put the numbers in, and it'll tell you. But you got to know what kind of bonds they are. See? And generally, you got to look at double E bonds, right? Because there's all kind of bonds there. But anyway, if you just fuck around on that website, you'll start finding your bonds. You're bonded. You're a bonded freeman. Kill those bonds. Kill them. Get rid of them. Because they're using those bonds for the ugliest and most atrocious things. And until such time as that's the way you withdraw your consent. Right? You hit him in the pocketbook. Okay. Pal, 2 hours, enough. Happy election. Hope you guys had fun. Did you go down there and fill out the ballot? I'm voting because the slaves elect the president, right? They're gonna let us slaves elect the president because the slaves always elect the president in every slave society, right? Anyway, figure out a few things that I've been talking about here. Go find Patrick Devine. Go find some of these other people that can help you and have made videos. Go find those that have gone before you. 100 Monkey Effect is in effect, and e pluribus unum, right? Educate self, educate others, all of us together. That's what makes us strong. Divided, that is what makes us weak. 17 has said this on more than one occasion. That's how they've been doing it for 1,000 years, more than that, right? Same fuckers, same system, same everything. We just never woke up. And this time they got clever about it, never told us about it, right? You don't, back in the day, am I going to shut up? I got to shut up. But back in the day, they told you, or they used to know that becoming a Roman citizen was a thing, because that came with all kind of benefits and privileges and rights and so forth, right? You didn't want to be a bond, and if you were a Roman citizen, you couldn't be a slave, right? Romans had a hierarchy there. Okay, that was bad. It was bad to tell the slaves that there was, nope, you're all created equal. No, you're not. You're all, I mean, yeah, you are. Like, we all have and we all have the same inalienable rights, and free will must be preserved. And this book right here tells you about 1,000 times that free will is free will, and there can't be anything but free will, and free will must be preserved, and governments can't get around free will. But there are some that are freer than others. There are some that are bonded slaves, and there are some that are not bonded slaves. There are some, anyway, so there are some that have unlimited capacity to contract, and there are some that have signed away their capacity to contract. There are some that have unlimited right to contract, and there are some that have signed contracts that limit their ability to contract in the first place. Which are you? You're one of the bonded slaves. Promise. Just look into it, right? Once you figure that out, okay, that's the biggest thing, right? Nah, I'm free, because that's what I do. Nah, I'm a free man. What are you talking about? No, you're a bonded free man. So get rid of those bonds. How do you do that? Above my pay grade, but I've given you every fucking clue you could possibly get, right? Just about. And there's a few more clues that you're going to need, and there's a few other people that you need to look for, and then you need to be a self-starter and start reading and start listening and start opening your eyes and start realizing that, yeah, it's not a joke. I'm not kidding. This thing right here is far mightier than the sword or the gun. Okay. Now for sure. E pluribus unum, crime stoppers. Educate self, educate others. We're going to come through this smelling like roses. I'm telling you, we're going to come where we are, but educate self, educate others. Talk to you again. I don't know. Probably Sunday school will be a thing. All right.